come to understand this, then you will always understand how involved you allow yourself to be in the game. Today's society is a social, psychological reality. The world we live in today is almost completely conceptualized. Society exists between perception and action. All of it is a thought. There are concepts we've come up with. All our institutions, organizations, laws, governments exist in our minds. They're not inherent in the experience of reality, though it absolutely feels like that. Trees are inherent. The sun is inherent. The earth is inherent. Dying is implied. Our conceptualized world feels so real, and it is, but only because we think it is. You see, trees are real even if we don't think about them, because they don't require our attention to manifest. But society does. Society. If you don't hold up this thought in your mind, then it won't exist anywhere outside of your mind. And if you don't think about it, then it doesn't exist at all. So the more involved you want to be in society, then the more you'll have to take on ideas about yourself. If society is an idea, and you want to communicate with that idea, then the more you have to take on ideas about yourself. Ideas are made of thoughts. Thoughts are made of information. And information is considered substance. Now that you're substantial, society can communicate with you, and you can communicate with it. In other words, we think everything through before we do it. We cycle through ideas about ourselves and what we expect will happen before it happens. To exist in society, you need to be an idea, a reference point, a point of substance, so you can be identified as part of the collective thought process. Thus, you cannot exist within society without an ego, or better put, you cannot exist without the thought of you. Yet in this process, you lose what you are. Trying to figure out who you are by taking on more ideas, not realizing what you're searching for isn't an idea, but an experience. Since you interpret yourself as an idea, you are trying to find the right idea, which will give you the experience you're searching for, but unfortunately, the right idea is what is socially acceptable, so it doesn't consider what you want to experience. What is unexpected is an authentic experience. What is expected may as well have happened, because we only expect that which has been socially approved. The only way to always be in a position of going with the unapproved and unexpected nature of life is to be in a state of acceptance, not expectance. To be in a state of acceptance is really to be in a state of love, because acceptance is the foundation of love. In the same way that when you love someone, you accept who they are. Society has become so complex as a concept that this requires us to think everything that we do through in order that our image is acceptable. But this completely blocks us. It disconnects us from being with what we feel. We're afraid that if we genuinely feel, we might act it out and in turn be cast away from society. So we suppress what we feel in order to be accepted. This suppression causes us to feel empty and unfulfilled. An emotion has risen in your experience, but your resistance to this emotion causes the needs of yourself to go unmet. So you end up with a sense of unfulfillment because this feeling is an expression of your essential self. You are not suppressing an emotion, you are suppressing you. You are implying that this experience you're having is somehow fundamentally wrong. So you compensate with an idea, but the only reason ideas can be comforting is if what happens is in alignment with what is expected. Otherwise, suffering is all we find because we only accept that which we expect. This is also why we struggle with what we are, because we expect ourselves to be different than the way we are, which brings us back to acceptance. Accepting what is happening outside of you and accepting what is happening inside of you. This is what I mean by what you are. You are attached to who you think you are and stop being what you are, suppressing what is actually happening and instead replacing with what should be happening. Which is why the more complex society becomes as an idea, the more rampant mental illness becomes, because we have become compulsive, habitual deniers of what we genuinely feel in every move we make. We are in a constant, so to speak, state of anxiety. We have enforced the behaviors of the ideas we think we are onto ourselves. We are trying to find acceptance in who we think we are and not being what we are. A constant, flowing, energetic state of awareness. See, what you want to be is totally involved but detached. Instead, everyone's totally attached and not involved. Involvement here being the body and attachment being the mind. We think about living instead of experiencing living. Life is an experience, and an experience implies moving through something. You can't think to move yourself through an experience. In other words, stop trying to find an acceptable image of yourself because you are exactly what you are trying to experience. Being alive already implies that you are the right way. Simply because you exist.